She watched him fall in love with her, hold her, choose her, every single day. The only problem was that wasn't her anymore. That hadn't been her for months, and no matter how hard she screamed, nobody could hear her. My name is Anna. I want to tell you something before I begin. If you ever move into a new apartment and the landlord gives you one strange rule, just one thing they ask you never to do, please, leave. Don't ask questions, don't try to understand it. Just pick up your things and walk away. I wish someone had told me that. I moved to Chicago in September, 23 years old, fresh out of college, new job, new city, new life. I had saved enough money for first and last month's rent, and that was it. So when I found an apartment in Lincoln Park for $800 a month, I thought I had won the lottery. The building was old, beautiful old. High ceilings, original hardwood floors, big windows that looked out over a quiet street lined with oak trees. The landlord was a small man, 70s maybe, quiet. He showed me around without saying much. Kitchen, bathroom, living room, bedroom. The bedroom had a mirror, floor to ceiling, built into the wall, ornate dark wood frame, clearly antique, clearly expensive. It was stunning. I remember thinking how lucky I was to have it. As we were leaving, the landlord stopped at the bedroom door. He turned and looked at the mirror for a long moment. Then he looked at me. "One rule," he said. "Just one." I waited. Never cover the mirror. Not with a sheet, not with tape, not with anything. Never block it. Never turn it face to the wall. I almost laughed. It seemed so small, so strange. "Okay," I said. "Why?" He looked at me for a long time without answering. "Just don't," he said finally. And then he handed me the keys and left. I should have asked more questions. I should have asked what happened to the last tenant. I should have asked why the mirror had a lock on the frame that only opened from the inside. But I didn't. I just moved in. The first few weeks were perfect. I loved Chicago. I loved my job. I loved my little apartment with its high ceilings and creaky floors. I made friends at work. Maya, Priya, Daniel. Daniel. He worked 2 desks away from me. Dark hair, quiet smile. The kind of person who remembered small things you mentioned once in passing. Your favorite coffee order, the name of your childhood dog. I liked him immediately. Everyone did, but I liked him differently. At night, I would come home, make tea, sit on my bed and look at the mirror. It was just a mirror. My reflection looked back at me. Tired, happy, hopeful. Just a girl in a new city trying to build something. I had no idea the mirror was already watching me, learning me, memorizing every small thing that made me Anna. It started small. 6 weeks after I moved in, I was getting ready for work, standing in front of the mirror doing my hair. I pulled my hair into a ponytail. My reflection did the same. But half a second later, I froze. I pulled the hair tie out and did it again. This time, the reflection matched me perfectly. I stood there for a long time, staring. Trick of the light, I told myself. Old mirror, antique glass, slight distortion. I was tired. I was imagining things. I went to work. But that night when I came home, I stood in front of the mirror for an hour. My reflection did everything I did, perfectly, immediately. So why couldn't I shake the feeling that it was practicing? 2 weeks later, I woke up at 3 a.m. I don't know what woke me, a sound maybe, or nothing at all. I lay in the dark staring at the ceiling. Then I turned my head toward the mirror. My reflection was already sitting up, looking at me. I hadn't moved yet. I sat up slowly. My reflection sat up at exactly the same time, but it had already been sitting up, before I moved. I turned on every light in the apartment. I sat on the kitchen floor until sunrise. In the morning, I called my landlord. "The mirror," I said. "Something is wrong with it." Silence. "Don't cover it," he said. "I know, but something is—" "Don't cover it, Anna." He hung up. I stood in my kitchen shaking. How did he know my name? I had never told him my name. I started sleeping with the lights on. I started avoiding the mirror. I rearranged my bedroom so my bed faced away from it, but I could still feel it behind me, watching. Then one morning I was brushing my teeth in the bathroom mirror when I noticed something. A small scar on my left hand. I had gotten it as a child, fell off my bike, 7 stitches. I had always had it, but in the bathroom mirror it wasn't there. My reflection's left hand was smooth, perfect, unmarked. I pressed my hand against the mirror. My reflection pressed back, but it was smiling. I wasn't smiling. And slowly, it tilted its head and mouthed 2 words, "My turn." I don't remember the switch happening. That's the most terrifying part. One moment I was standing in front of the bedroom mirror getting ready for bed. The next moment I was cold, deeply cold. The kind of cold that lives in old glass. And the world looked different, slightly bluish, slightly flat, like looking through old glass. Because I was inside the mirror, and she was standing in my bedroom, wearing my face, wearing my body, touching my things, picking up my phone, scrolling through my messages. She stopped at Daniel's name and smiled. My smile, but not mine at all. I screamed until I had nothing left. She never turned around. Nobody could hear me. The mirror was soundproof from the inside. I watched her go to sleep in my bed, in my apartment, in my life. I pressed my hands against the glass until my palms ached. The lock on the frame, the one that only opened from the inside. I found it in the dark. I pulled it. It didn't move. It had been welded shut. From the outside, someone had made sure whoever ended up in here could never get out. I sank to the floor of the mirror, and I waited for morning, hoping someone would notice, hoping someone would see. Nobody did. The worst part wasn't being trapped. The worst part was watching. She was better at being me than I ever was. She laughed louder, smiled easier, never second-guessed herself. Maya and Priya loved her immediately. They started inviting her to things they had never invited me to. Brunches, weekend trips, late-night conversations. She said yes to everything. I had always been too anxious, too in my own head. She wore my face and lived my life better than I had ever lived it. And I watched from inside the glass, every single day, unable to look away, unable to do anything at all. And then there was Daniel. I watched her walk up to him one morning. No hesitation, no nervousness, no second guessing. Just my face, my voice, my smile, used like a key to open a door I had been too afraid to knock on. He looked at her the way I had always hoped he would look at me. Within 2 weeks, they were having lunch together every day. Within a month, he brought flowers to my apartment. I watched through the mirror as he handed them to her, as she pulled him inside, as he looked around my apartment, my books, my plants, my photographs on the wall, and said, "I feel like I've always known you." She smiled. "You have," she said, and I pressed my forehead against the cold glass, and I finally understood. She hadn't stolen my life. She had stolen the version of my life I had always been too afraid to live, and that was the cruelest thing of all. 3 months into my imprisonment, something changed. Daniel came over alone one evening. She wasn't home. He sat on my bed, and he looked at the mirror for a long time. I pressed myself against the glass. I screamed. I waved my arms. I did everything I could. And then, something extraordinary happened. He frowned. He stood up. He walked toward the mirror. Slowly. He stood right in front of me, his eyes moving across the glass. "Anna?" he whispered. I froze. He could almost see me. I could tell. Something in him knew. Something in him felt it. I pressed my hand flat against the glass, and on the other side, his hand rose slowly and pressed back. She came home before he could do anything. I watched her face change when she saw him standing at the mirror, Just for a moment, just a flicker. Fear. She was afraid of what he almost saw. She crossed the room and took his hand, led him away from the mirror. And as she did, she turned her head and looked directly at me and smiled. But Daniel kept looking back. Every time he visited after that, he would find a reason to stand near the mirror. She started suggesting they spend time at his place instead. He agreed. But one evening before he left, he stood in front of me one last time. He reached into his pocket and placed something on the mirror's frame. A key. Then he walked out. I stared at that key for a long time, afraid to hope, afraid to believe. I reached for the lock. My hands were shaking. The key fit, and the lock turned. And I have been standing in front of mirrors ever since, afraid to look too long, afraid of what might be looking back. Because here's the thing nobody tells you. When I came out of the mirror, she was gone. But the mirror wasn't empty. There was still a reflection in it, and it wasn't mine.